Cop suspended for failing to intervene as a driver is assaulted. I think the cop should be arrested. All right, put it at full mask. So this is in Miami. A Miami cop has been suspended after local news shows actual surveillance footage of a pack of bicyclists attack a driver in the middle of the street, broad daylight. Everybody sees it. She said in her car, watched it as if she ordered it herself. Okay. Miami police officer has now been suspended from her duties after being accused of failing to intervene in a melee that took place right in front of her police cruiser and involved multiple people who brutally attacked one man in broad daylight. So here's the background. The camera show the moments leading up to the brawl when a driver stopped at an intersection near 14th Street and got out of his car to speak to an officer parked in the middle of the street. A bicyclist is also seen confronting the man as he approaches the police cruiser. And the two begin arguing. As the man walks back to his car, multiple bicyclists swarm him and his vehicle and began beating him in the middle of the street. All right, so the footage shows the group of bicyclists punching and kicking the motorist, slamming a bicycle on top of him. One person was seen climbing on his car and stumping on the windshield until it shattered. All right, so keep that picture up for a minute. This is the first time in my natural life I've ever seen bicyclists roll like this. And maybe this is something that is more common than I assumed. I don't know. No idea. But there's a lot more to the story, okay? So all of this happened in front of the cop, in front of the actual police cruiser. So that means that everybody who saw this, everyone saw that there's an officer allowing it because the cruiser is there. And she's watching, okay? All right, so she never left the car to intervene. Backup arrived. She then gets out of her car. When the other officers finally arrived, one of them tackled another individual, prompting the other attackers to flee and to leave and get on their bikes and go. The officers also rendered aid to the victim, but they haven't released how severe his injuries were. The female officer who witnessed the brawl has now been relieved of her duties pending an internal police investigation. Put up the chief. This is the Miami police chief, Manuel Morales, and he said in the statement, quote, "The members of the Miami Police Department understand and take great pride in upholding their responsibility to protect and serve our community. We must act for the betterment of our community." So many viewers obviously condemned the officer's apparent lack of response, while some pointed out that she was outnumbered. Quote, "Our tax dollar going to waste. We pay for police work, serve and protect, not ignore. She should get fired," one person wrote. So before I continue, I just want to remind everybody that while, yes, you may say she's outnumbered, no. She has 17 in the clip. And she may have one in the chamber. It's called a gun. That's why they have them. If this happened to be 5 or 6, maybe 7 black individuals, young, jumping on a white male in the middle of the street, a cop is pulling out a gun. That's how it happens. That's in protection of life. So when there's an opportunity to protect life, to actually utilize your weapon in a way that's protective of life, to give a warning, because obviously everybody who was a bicyclist who decided to do the cowardly act of engaging and jumping on one human being, but as soon as a cop came, everybody fled. But they did not care about the one cop who was watching them. I need to know why. All right, Also, it's unclear if the police plan to pursue any charges against the bicyclist for the role in the attack, which is another insanity to this story. One witness alleges the cyclist attacked the driver over an earlier hit and run, even though it hasn't been confirmed, nor has an arrest been made. All right, Ben, that's a hell of a story. What say you?
It is a hell of a story for sure. I mean, as you pointed out, this is not normally the way bicyclists roll, pun intended there. These guys are gonna have to get themselves some motorcycles because this is a tough group of bicycle riders. I heard as they sped off from this melee, they honked their cute horns a bunch and hit those little bells to let people know they might return. We do have to figure out what happened with this police officer. You know, she's a female police officer. We should obviously have female police officers, but we need any officer that signs up to be sure that they're not going to be afraid to enter into situations, because one other police officer arrived and everybody scattered. And so you gotta be willing to step up regardless of any reason that might have made her not comfortable intervening. Like you said, she's got a gun. A gun makes you as tough as anybody else. And so you need to be able to have that steely resolve to be able to stop a fight happening right in front of you. If you can't stop bicyclists that got out of control, what hope do we have for any sort of more intense situation that she is going to be facing? Bicyclists about as easy as you get, and she failed that test.
Yeah, and it was quite clear they were not armed. They were utilizing their bicycle to hit the man. They could have killed him right in front of her.